Even if you do everything right, if you miss out on this one critical idea, you're not going to hit 700 plus on your next SAT. But by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what you are missing and how you can implement this critical idea to your SAT prep so that you can get a higher score on your next SAT. So the golden rule is that as long as you master the 25 concepts that are tested on the SAT, you're going to be able to solve every single question correctly and quickly and get a higher score on your next exam. But the problem is that as a first-time SAT taker, most students do not know what it's like to truly master the concepts. And oftentimes they end up doing all this work to master it the wrong way, and they take the exam and they wonder why their score is not going up. The issue is that they are leaving certain critical things out, and one of them is what we're about to go over in this video. So for demonstration purposes, let's take a look at this question over here. The question gives us a graph of a line and a parabola, and it says intersects at exactly just 1 point. If A is positive constant, what's the value of A? And some of you guys might think, John, this is such an easy question. I know exactly what to do. But pretend for the demonstration purposes, pretend it's one of those questions you saw in the exam and you're like, I have no idea what to do. Because for some students, they don't know where to start with this question and they end up trying 5-6 different things only to realize that they wasted too much time on this question and they either skip it or get it wrong. And by the time they move on to the next question, they realize that there's only 3 minutes left and 15 more questions to go. So why is this happening? Well, if you think about it, SAT in a nutshell is they just give you a question and they're asking you, hey, which concept goes with this question? In this question, it's asking you, there is one intersection point between a line and a parabola. Do you know which concept goes with that idea? If you answered no, you're going to waste a lot of time and get it wrong. But if you answered yes, it's discriminant, then you're going to get it right. Because anytime you see an intersection question based on line and a parabola, you use what's known as discriminant, and the formula looks something like this. And on the SAT, outside of SAT, we don't think about that. On the SAT, there are 2 usages of discriminant. The first one is going to be finding the number of x-intercepts in a parabola. When it comes to parabola, you can have 0 x-intercept, 1 x-intercept, or 2 x-intercepts. That's the first usage. But the second usage is finding the number of intersection between a line and a parabola. Just like this question over here, we're given a line and a parabola. And the question is asking you to find the value of A based on the fact that it has just 1 intersection point. If you can make that connection of line and a parabola plus intersection is equal to discriminant, if you can make that connection, the moment you read this question, you go straight into discriminants, not waste a second and get the correct answer as quickly as possible. And if you can't do that, that's the exact reason why you are not happy with your score and why you're not at 700 plus. And for you to solve this question, just combine the equations and plug ABC into the formula. So to quickly solve it, and that's how you find the value of A. So the key idea is for you to make that mental connection between the concept and its purpose. When it comes to discriminant, there are 2 purposes. To find, 1, number of x-intercepts in a parabola only, or finding the number of intersections between a line and a parabola. And the moment you can make that mental connection for all the concepts that are tested on the SAT is the moment you cross 700 plus on the math section. And of the 700 plus students inside the program, I am yet to see a single student who did not get 700 plus after they have made all these mental connections. And that's why we use something known as the mental mapper for every single one of these 25 concepts that are tested on the SAT to truly make that mental connection of when to use each concept. So the main point here is that while you're studying for the SAT, do not simply have a surface understanding and memorization of the concept. Instead, go a little bit deeper and try to make that mental connection of when do I use this concept? What is the purpose of discriminant? Well, on the SAT, there are 2 purposes. When it comes to finding x-intercepts in a parabola, you can use factoring or quadratic formula. But what's the purpose of each of them? What's the difference between the 2? When do you use each of them? You do factoring when numbers are simple, but you do quadratic formula when the numbers are not factorable. Everything you learn inside a concept serves a specific purpose. It's essentially a tool. When the SAT gave us this question we just went over, it was asking, hey, which tool would you use to solve this question? If you can answer discriminant, you get to the answer immediately. If you can't, then you're going to waste a lot of time and get it wrong. So the 4 things you should focus on is going to be learning the concept, memorizing the concept, and being quick with the concepts and making the mental connections for all these concepts. If you can do that, 700 plus is guaranteed.